Where's my piece that I need? I think this is it right here. Yeah. And there's this piece. It looks like there's two of them. You can use both of them if you want to kind of sandwich in the material that we're going to put in there. And then once you're done with this one, it goes away. But we can sandwich the material in there, and then we're going to glue it to the top. So let's go ahead and now pull out some of this material here. And I hope you can see this on the video, but there's some really fine pieces. Let me see if I can get them to shine for you. There we go. See these pieces right here? There's several pieces, like there's, I think there's 4 of these pieces. They're really thin. It's film. For those that used to go to school and they did overhead projections, that's what this is. It's the material that the teacher would write on to create, to do their overhead projections. And so this material is really flexible. It's really flexible, yet it's rigid enough that the marble will not go down, here as long as there's it's touching on the other side here, and I'll show you how that works. But there's one of them that's labeled with door, and I don't know if you can see that. Maybe with the red. Anyway, one of these will be labeled with door, and it's cut to size so that it can be glued to this piece and then glued up in there. And so let me go ahead and get those pieces glued real quick. I'm going to put this out of the way. All right, I'm just going to glue across here. Now, believe it or not, this plastic, for some reason, it really likes this CA glue. It will adhere almost instantly to this stuff when you press it on. All right, so just glue that on like that. And to give it some strength, because the marbles will be coming and hitting this at speed like this, and we don't want it to come flying off. So we're going to glue this guy on here and in fact sandwich. I don't know if you can see that, but it's sandwiched between the 2 pieces. All right, let me get that glued. All right, so now we have this little, the ones labeled door is sandwiched between these 2 pieces, and these 2 pieces, I'm going to bring this back, needs to be glued up here. Let's see if I can get this. Sorry, this is kind of hard to see. All right, so these pieces that have sandwiched this piece of plastic are going to go up underneath these and touch at an angle like that. Okay, so we're going to need to put some glue on each one of these on the inside where it's going to touch. I know where they're going to touch, so we'll just put some glue on right there. A drop, and a drop. All right. And I'm going to use my finger from the far side to push it up under like that. And we're going to want that to dry. I put a lot of glue on there. Oh darn, I'm off the camera again, sorry. We're going to want to put a lot of glue in there. This is going to have a lot of marbles hitting it, so put lots of glue on. All right. So there we go. That is now the trap door. So the marble will be coming up this way. It will go into, they'll shoot in here, and then this door will close once it's passed beyond the door. That will flap up. But it's strong enough to prevent marbles from going back down. You see that? So they won't go back down that track. So they'll come through. I'll just push one through real quick and go through, but they won't go that direction. Okay, so that's the one-way door, and that's how that gets installed, just like that. You can also, if you want to, you can trim this a little bit, but you do want it to rest on this cross beam right here. This one is probably, I don't know, a ½ inch from where it touches down here. It could be trimmed back another ¼ inch or so if you want, if you don't want it hanging so far down. So now we're going to build the device that has the gates in it. All right, and this is part of that. And there's the other one right here. I'm going to pop these off of here. There's two of them that are exactly the same. And I've created this so that it was a little bit thicker, so it gave you a little bit more gluing space for the gates. And so we'll just glue these two pieces together right on top of each other. Just make sure that your notches align properly. Okay, so just line it right on top of each other and then glue. And so I'll just put some glue here, some glue here, and glue it down just like that. All right, so there we go. That is this is going to be the piece that slides in and is holding the gates. So let's just clean that up, make sure there's no glue on the sides, and it fits right on here. So it's going to come this way right through here and slide in. See that? All right, there we go. And then all of these are going to work similar to what we did with the one-way door. We're going to glue some pieces onto it to now slow the marbles down. So let's get these all knocked out of here. Once they're out of this, you can get rid of it. All right, and so these are the other materials that we have. The black is going to be for the bottom here. It has adhesive on the back, which will peel, and we'll put that piece in just a moment. And what that will do is the marbles come in and they hit the gates and they drop to the track. It's just a cushion, and it will, reduce the amount of noise that they make. Also, just be softer for the marbles to land, and then they will roll out. Now there are 3 pieces of this stuff, and there's 2 pieces of either a felt or a foam. This is a foam. You'll get in your kit either one. They work about the same. The foam and the felt, they're pretty flimsy, and so we're going to be applying some of the plastic to the back so it makes them a little bit stronger, okay, a little bit more rigid, I should say. Okay, and there's 2 different sizes. There's 2 smaller ones and then 1 bigger one. We're going to put the big one on here first. We'll start with that guy, and we're just going to glue it to the top of this here. So let me get some glue. And it's pretty much stuck. Pretty amazing stuff. Okay, so that's our first one. We're going to put in as the first gate that it goes through. And then let's go ahead and create the other 2 gates. So there's that guy. We're going to glue it to another one of these cross beams right here, and again just line it up, glue it on. Oops, I twisted it. We don't want to do that. All right, just like that. Put some pressure on there, let that glue dry. And just for a little additional spring back, a little rigidity, we're going to put some glue on here. And then we'll put this plastic piece on right there. All right. And then to cap it all off, we're going to put some glue on a second one. And we're just going to apply that right here. And try to get those aligned. And we're just going to sandwich those items between those two pieces of wood. All right, and then we're going to do the exact same thing for the next one. Okay, now once we have these three put together, we're going to install them here on slider. And so what we'll do, the first one we're going to install at a slight angle. And so I'm going to put some glue in here and glue in there. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to put this in so that the glued face is toward the entrance. And then we'll just slide this guy in here like this. And I'm going to tilt it at an angle. There we go. Something like that. Just so it has a bit of an angle to it. We don't want it to go and sit on top of the door. We want it to be angled back just behind the door a little bit, so we'll put an angle on it, just like that. Now we don't want this to be proud of the top of this. We want that to be just a little bit recessed, so we'll do that. I think what we'll do is I'll just put some more glue in here. Little spritz on here. See if we can get it to set quicker. And then more glue over on this side. And then taking off any excess that might happen to be on the top. All right. So now notice that these three slots are recessed. And so I've put it on the one, there's a bigger gap here than there is here. So the first one has got this bigger gap, so that when we slide it in, you know, we've got space for this door to work. All right, now we'll just take these guys and we're going to install them straight up and down in these sections. And I always put the foam first and then the plastic on the back side, so it's away from that door. So here we go, slide it in. And again, you don't want it to be above the top of the edge or the ridge here. So we'll make sure that that is either flush or slightly below. There we go, just like that. All right, and I'm going to put an extra little bit of glue on here. These are going to receive some pounding from the marbles, so be generous with your glue on these. All right, there we go. Let's double check. And then these have been cut so that they will actually fit between the rails here, okay? And so we want to make sure that that is still the case when we put them in. We haven't put them in sideways or anything. You you should be able to see that they're between the rails. Okay. All right, let's install our last one. And then a little more glue on this guy. Now we want to make sure that these aren't too long. If we have to, we're going to cut them down with the scissors. We don't want the marbles to get hung up between the bottom of this and the road here. So we want to make sure that the marbles, when this is sitting in here, that it will freely roll. So see this one, how it's not rolling right there? We're going to need to trim the bottom just a little bit. So just grab a pair of scissors and trim that off. I'm going to trim off about that much so you can see. All right, let's try that again. Drop that marble down there. Make sure it's going to be able to roll out without any hindrance, just like that. Okay? We don't want it to get stopped. All right, so now that's assembled. We have the door, we have the first gate, second and third gates, and this should slow our marbles down when they come in with speed and drop them down onto this rubber foam on the track, and then they'll continue to roll out and continue racing. Okay? All right, now let's put the lid on right here, and of course that's number 16. Now you can glue it this way if you want with the numbers up, or you can hide them by just flipping it over. It will go on either way. I'm going to go ahead and hide the numbers so you don't have to see those. I am going to pull this out so it doesn't get glued in there. And just set it in like that. Okay. And then there's the top. I'm going to put some quick glue in there, or quick spray in. See if we can get that to set real quick. We probably don't need these anymore. Let's go ahead and take the rubber bands off. And then what we'll do here, I'll just, again, show you how it just slides right in. It just goes right in like this. And that's a little bit tight, but that's okay. All right, and then the last piece is this guy right here, and it will just slide, these will slide through the holes. Oops, I got it upside down. Okay, these will slide through the holes, and then down. There's a little key, you see that? So we put them on, slide it down, and everything is now locked into place and won't be coming out. Like I said, if there's ever time you want to change the material that's in there, you can do that simply by taking that off and pulling your slider out and then updating it. Okay? That is the assembly of the speed reducer. So now this was the riser. It hooks on directly after your booster, and then this will hook on, and I will do another video here how to use this so that you understand the concept of how this is going to work. But shows you how the marbles will go up here, get slowed down, back on the track. All right, well, thank you much.